Shalom, Israel, shalom. Brother Aaron, Royal Redeemer of Christ Church. All praise and honor to the Most High, Yahweh, Bashima Mashiach Yahushua. And today's lesson is titled, Who Told You the Lord's Laws Are Done Away? Okay, who told you the Lord's laws are done away? Because that's one of the devil's biggest lies throughout this earth, specifically growing up throughout Christianity. They still, to this day, teaching that in the Christian church, that, okay, the Lord's laws are done away. And basically, you don't have to acknowledge the Lord's laws and you can still be saved. Okay, and that this lie is still going on throughout this very day. Thank the Most High that through his true teachers rising up and through the Spirit of the Lord throughout this earth, we are tearing that lie down. More of our people are now waking up, coming back to the Lord's laws, statutes, and commandments, and he's setting us free. Okay, we're going to use the precepts, we're going to go throughout the Bible, and we're going to show you, once again, who told you that the Lord's laws are done away. First place we're going is Matthew chapter 5, verse 17.
It's the book of Matthew chapter 5, verse 17. Think not that I come to destroy the law.
Right out of the mouth of Christ himself, red letters. He's telling you, don't even put it in your mind that he's come to destroy the law. Come on.
Or the prophets. I am not to come to destroy, but to fulfill.
But to fulfill the things that was written for him to fulfill. And all of it still ain't been fulfilled in part. Only in part because his second coming we're still waiting on. Isaiah 63, the destruction of Edom, which clearly hasn't happened yet. Also, the battle of Armageddon. There's a lot that still hasn't been fulfilled. Read verse 18.
This is the book of Matthew chapter 5, verse 18. For verily I say unto you, till heaven and earth pass, one jot or one tittle shall in no wise pass from the law.
So heaven and earth pass. So if heaven and earth is not passed away, that means not one jot is passed from the law. The law is still good. Continue.
Till all be fulfilled. Whosoever therefore shall break one of these least commandments and shall teach men so, he shall be called the least in the kingdom of heaven. But whosoever shall do and teach them, the same shall be called great in the kingdom of heaven.
Okay, so in the kingdom of heaven, the ones who doing the laws of God and teaching them, that's going to be who's great. How can it be done away if the Christ is literally telling you the one who teach and do the laws is going to be great? Okay, read the beginning of verse 18 one more time.
Matthew chapter 5, verse 18. For verily I say unto you, till heaven and earth pass, one jot or one tittle shall in no wise pass from the law. Okay,
now let's use our precepts. Let's see if heaven and earth pass yet. Let's go to Revelation chapter 21, and we're going to read verses 1 and 2. Okay, because all you have to do right there is go outside. You can look up and you see the sun, the law is still good. At nighttime, if the stars come out, that means the law is still good. Read what you got.
Book of Revelation chapter 21, verse 1. And I saw a new heaven and a new earth. For the first heaven and the first earth were passed away, and there was no more sea. And I, John, saw the holy city, New Jerusalem, coming down from God out of heaven, prepared as a bride adorned for her husband.
Okay, so ask yourself this question. Has this happened yet? Has the new heaven came down? Has the sun and the moon passed away? As it say in Revelation verses 1 and 2. Has this happened yet? If this has not happened yet, then we go right back to what Christ said in Matthew 5, verse 18.
For verily I say unto you, till heaven and earth pass, one jot or one tittle shall in no wise pass from the law, till all be fulfilled.
Okay, so it's that simple. If heaven and earth has not passed away, it says not one piece, a jot or tittle from the law have no means passed away. So we know the law is still good. From now, let's get Psalms chapter 19, verse 7.
It's the book of Psalms, chapter 19, verse 7. Then the earth shook. Verse 19, verse 7. Okay. The law of the Lord is perfect, converting the soul. The testimony of the Lord is sure, making wise the simple.
See that? The law of the Lord is perfect, converting the soul. You see that? So the Bible calls the law of the Lord perfect. So how can it be done away? It's telling you it's perfect. Let's get precepts. Romans chapter 7, verse 12.
Romans chapter 7, verse 12. Wherefore the law is holy, and the commandment holy, and just, and good.
Okay, so the Bible calls the law holy, the commandment is holy, and just, and good. All right, let's get Romans chapter 3, verses 30 to 31.
The book of Romans chapter 3, verse 30. Seeing it is one God, which shall justify the circumcision by faith, and the uncircumcision through faith. Verse 31. Do we then make void the law through faith?
So because of faith, does that mean we don't have to keep the law? Come on.
God forbid. Yea, we establish the law.
The answer is no. Actually, we establish the law, meaning enforce the law, teach the law. Okay, this is the Apostle Paul. Once again, New Testament. All right, let's get Romans chapter 2, verses 12 and 13.
Book of Romans chapter 2, verse 12. For as many as have sinned without law shall also perish without law.
Okay, so the ones who sin without the law done away, you have to keep the law, but yet they transgress it. Them the same ones, they gonna perish by the same law they say done away with. Continue.
And as many as have sinned in the law shall be judged by the law.
Okay, and many of us that know there is a law, but yet they still sin, which is the definition of sin, is transgression of the law, 1 John 3 and 4. Them the same ones that's going to be judged by the law. Continue.
Verse 13, for not the hearers of the law are just before God, but the doers of the law shall be justified.
Hold on, who should be justified?
The doers of the law shall be justified.
Okay, so once again, Apostle Paul telling us, Romans chapter 3, New Testament, not the hearers of the law should be justified, but the ones who actually keep the law, the doers of the law. Okay, kind of hard to do that. What is Paul talking about if the law is done away with? You see that? All right, let's get more precepts. Let's go to James chapter 2. James chapter 2. We read in verses 17 through 24.
It's the book of James chapter 2, verse 17. Even so faith, if it had not works, is dead, being alone. Verse 18. Yea, a man may say, thou hast faith, and I have works. Show me thy faith without thy works.
You see that? A man may say, I have faith without works. What James is saying, okay, that's just like belief in Christ. You got all you do is believe by faith. Okay, well, the other guy's going to tell you, hey, I'm going to show you my belief. I'm going to show you my faith based off of my works. What works? Obedient to the law. Obedience to the commandments. Continue.
And I will show thee my faith by my works.
You see that? I'm going to show you my faith. How? By my works. You're going to know it's not just lip service. Why? Because my faith is going to be known because I'm going to back it up with the proper works. By keeping the laws. By keeping the statutes and the commandments. Continue.
Thou believest that there is one God. Thou doest well. The devils also believe and tremble.
See that? They got faith and believe too, but are they going to make it to the kingdom? The answer is no. Come on.
But wilt thou know, O vain man, that faith without works is dead.
See that? You have all the faith you want in the world, but if you don't have it backed up by some type of righteous works, which is keeping the laws and commandments, it means nothing. Continue.
Was not Abraham our father justified by works when he had offered Isaac his son upon the altar? Seest thou how faith wrought with his works? And by works was faith made perfect.
You see that? Now, according to all the Christians, they see Abraham, how was he made righteous? He just believed by faith. Yes, he did have faith, but his faith was also backed up by his works. That's the part they leave out, see?
He did it. Yep.
Continue.
And the scripture was fulfilled, which saith, Abraham believed God, and it was imputed unto him for righteousness.
See, they read that part and close the book. This man, all his faith. See, he believed. How was he made righteous? Through faith. They close the book. But they don't have the full. That's where it says, and all you're getting, get understanding. Continue.
And he was called the friend of God. Verse 24. Yea, see then how that by works a man is justified.
By what a man is justified?
By works a man is justified.
Come on.
And not by faith alone.
You see that? By works a man is justified and not by faith alone. It takes both. Okay? Now let's get a quick precept on Abraham. Because I've heard that, so to this day they try to use that. See, he was made righteous by faith. They close the book. Let's see that. Let's get Genesis 26 verses 4 and 5. Genesis chapter 26 verse 4 and 5. See how Abraham was made righteous.
It's the book of Genesis, chapter 26, verse 4. And I will make thy seed to multiply as the stars of heaven. And I will give unto thy seed all these countries. And in thy seed shall all the nations of the earth be blessed.
Come on.
Because that Abraham obeyed my voice and kept my charge, my commandments, my statutes, and my laws.
Wow. So Abraham, yes, he did have faith, but we just read Abraham was obedient. He kept the Lord's laws, statutes, and commandments. Okay, read that last part one more time for him, verse 5.
Verse 5, because that Abraham obeyed my voice and kept my charge, my commandments, my statutes, and my laws.
See that? That's why Abraham was made righteous. Abraham had faith and works. See that? All right, y'all, let's go to 1 John chapter 3. We're going to 1 John chapter 3, and we read verses 7 through 10, talking about these righteous works.
1 John chapter 3, verse 7. Little children, let no man deceive you. He that doeth righteousness is righteous.
You see that? Let no man deceive you. The one who doeth righteousness is righteousness. Question is how we do this righteousness. Now I want you to jump to verse 10.
This is the book of 1 John chapter 3, verse 10. In this the children of God are manifest, and the children of the devil.
Okay, so you got the children of God on one hand, then you have the children of the devil. Continue.
Whosoever doeth not righteousness is not of God.
See that? So the one who don't do righteousness is not of God, meaning that's the one of the devil. Come on.
Neither he that loveth not his brother.
Okay, now the question is, let's see according to the Bible, how do you do righteousness?
It's the book of Deuteronomy chapter 6, verse 25.
That's what I want.
And it shall be our righteousness if we observe to do all these commandments before the Lord our God, as he hath commanded us.
Okay, now we had just read over there in 1 John, he that doeth righteousness is of God. The one that doeth not righteousness is not of God, meaning he's the children of the devil. So the question was, we said, let's see according to the Bible, how do you do righteousness? Read it one more time.
And it shall be our righteousness if we observe to do all these commandments before the Lord our God, as he commanded us.
Okay, so our righteousness is the laws, statutes, and commandments. You see that? Precept. We're going into our Apocrypha. I'm going to read, this is the book of Baruch and the Apocrypha. Let's see, Baruch chapter 4. And I'm going to read verse 1. The book of Baruch, chapter 4, and this is verse 1. This is the book of the commandments of God, and the law that endureth forever. All they that keepeth it shall come to life, but such as leave it shall die. Okay, so the book of the law, which endureth forever. Okay, so the Bible is telling us the laws endure forever. The ones that keep it shall live, the ones that forsake it will die. All right. Let's get Acts chapter 24, verse 14. I'm going to the book of Acts, chapter 24, and we're going to read verse 14.
It's the book of Acts, chapter 24, verse 14. But this I confess unto thee, that after the way which they call heresy, so worship I the God of my fathers, believing all things which are written in the law and in the prophets.
Okay, this is the Apostle Paul. He was accused of being a heresy. But Paul is setting the record straight. He said, I believe all things that are written in the book of the law of my fathers. So Paul believed the laws and the commandments. All right, New Testament, book of Acts. Paul is setting the record straight. He believed all things that's written in the law and the prophets. All right, let's get St. John. St. John chapter 5, verse 3.
The book of St. John, chapter 5, verse 3. And these lay a great multitude of impotent folk, of blind.
No, I'm sorry, that's my fault. 1 John 5 and 3. 1 John 5 and 3.
It's the book of 1 John, chapter 5, verse 3. For this is the love of God, that we keep his commandments, and his commandments are not grievous.
See that? The love of God is keeping the commandments. So if you love the Lord, you will keep his laws and commandments. And it says it's not grievous. It's only one person or one spirit, and that's of the devil. If the laws of the Lord grieve your spirit, that's the spirit of the devil. And we're going to prove that right now. Let's get a precept. Revelation chapter 12, verse 17. Only type of spirit that's grieved by the laws of God, that hate the laws of God, is Satan.
It's the book of Revelation, chapter 12, verse 17. And the dragon was wroth with the woman, and went to make war with the remnant of her seed, which keep the commandments of God, and have the testimony of Christ.
You see that? This is Satan the devil. Okay, this is the tribulation, Jacob's trouble, which we're about to come into. It's telling you who the devil has a problem with. Those who keep the commandments of God and the testimony and the faith of Jesus Christ. Not just those who believe by faith. He has a problem with the ones who keep the commandments, keeping the law, and the ones who have the faith. Okay, so the only spirit or type of person that's vexed or grieved by the laws of God, that lets you know the spirit of the devil is on them. All right, let's get a couple more, wrap it up. Matthew chapter 7, verse 21.
It's the book of Matthew, chapter 7, verse 21. Not everyone that saith unto me, Lord, Lord, shall enter into the kingdom of heaven, but he that doeth the will of my Father which is in heaven.
Okay, so not everybody who call him Lord is going to be in heaven, but the ones who do the will of our Father. Let's see what the will of the Father is according to the Bible. Psalms 40, verse 8. Because those are the ones we just read are going to enter the kingdom of heaven. Not the ones who say Lord, but the ones who do the will of his Father.
This is the book of Psalms, chapter 40, verse 8. I delight to do thy will, O my God. Yea, thy law is within my heart.
See that? So according to the Bible, the will of the Lord is the law. Okay? So let's go a couple more, we finish. Genesis chapter 3, verse 22.
The book of Genesis, chapter 3, verse 22. And the Lord God said, Behold, the man is become as one of us, to know good and evil. And now, lest he put forth his hand, and take also of the tree of life, and eat, and live forever.
Okay, now, it said man has become one of us, going back to the garden, the fall of Adam and Eve. Lest he put forth his hand and eat from the tree of life and live forever. So the only way to live forever is to eat from the tree of life. So let's see, using the precepts, what is this tree of life talking about? Revelation chapter 22, verse 14. Because it just said, in order for man to live forever, lest he put forth his hand, eat from the tree of life.
It's the book of Revelation, chapter 22, verse 14. Blessed are they that do his commandment.
Blessed are they that what?
That do his commandments.
Come on.
That they may have right to the tree of life, and may enter in through the gates into the city.
Okay, so the only way you enter to the gates of the city is if you take from the tree of life, which is doing his commandments. You see that? So once again, title of the lesson, who told you the Lord's laws are done away with? Okay, because they're not. With that, I pray y'all got some understanding. Till next time, shalom.